Welcome back, everybody. It's Gen 608 Plays. We are playing the U.S. Civil War by GMT Games. I am using the Vassal module from version 1.16. I am table space challenged, and so I have to use the Vassal module to do this. It's the only thing I can have set up to try and record this stuff for you. At the end of the last turn, we had some shenanigans going on up here where Morgan ran up and grabbed himself Covington. He is foraging, but so he's one less movement point, and he shifts his defensive column over one to the left. But the big thing for him is that he's going to get 3 build points for the south and force the north to do something about him. Otherwise, he's going to cross over into the north. Even if, because of his foraging die roll being based on his defense, and only being 1 strength point, he can forage just pretty much anything he wants. So the Union's going to have to deal with that. And that was the big thing that happened. Jackson did come back here and beat up Sedgwick, pushed him off. Oh, that should have been, that DM should have been removed. So let's just get rid of that right now. I think I might do that somewhere along the line, but okay. And the Army of the Potomac tried to engage Lee. Lee retreated into Fredericksburg, and so we're having a standoff here around Fredericksburg. I can't seem to get enough oomph to do anything. They put some troops and a general over here to try and keep Clarendon from just wandering around. So they're kind of sitting there staring at each other, and we did get Breckinridge retook this port here. And what else happened last turn? Not a lot else. Lee moved down to get close to Vicksburg. That was the big thing. And we did capture Camden, and we've been kind of playing cat and mouse with Wheeler and Kirby Smith. Okay, so that's sort of a quick overview there. By the way, if you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Please look at comments. Please share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps small channels like myself keep going. And we're going to get right into it here. Here we go. This should be reinforcements. And I'm just going to be placing some counters down here because I have to create counters to make things happen, what I want to have happen. I put the fort in New Orleans because, hey, it made sense. Then I put people down here. There you see me put the fort down. Now we're going to draw cards. Nope, not armies, dummy cards. We draw cards and we get, I put everything back in the deck. We got a Trans-Mississippi and a naval card. And then we go, the Confederate Arsenal is going to go in, what state? The 9 state, whatever 9 state is. Pull up the charts. The 9 state will be Alabama. I was trying to figure out where to put it. Tuscaloosa or Talladega seemed like the better places to put things. This is reinforcement math time. Our favorite time of the thing. Let's turn that off. So we're over here on the blockade table, the 1863 blockade column. Here's the die rolls, 3, 4, and 5. If we come over here, we can look at, so it's going to be 6, 7, and 11. So 6 was for 6, 7 gave them 8, and of course 11 gives them 10. So they're going to make 24. And then we will do the math here. And then I get plus 3 build points from Kentucky. So I think that was me moving the arsenal up, back up to 10. Even though we're on turn 11, I did destroy 1 arsenal, so he's one less than the turn right now. So here's the math. They own 79 resources. I get plus 10 from the arsenals, plus 3 for Kentucky, plus 24 for the blockade. Add all that up, comes to 116. Take off 10 for maintenance is 106. Divided by 10 is 10. So it's 1 Trans-Mississippi 4 West, 5 East. It's 10 total strength points, but scattered across the South. Which is the biggest problem the South has, is that their stuff ends up scattered all over creation. So here I'm going to make some pieces to put down. So I put 1 in Shreveport with PK Smith. Put a couple in Chattanooga. 2 in Decatur, because I'm thinking of doing something shenanigan-y. And then over here in the east, 2 in Fredericksburg to the Army of Northern Virginia. 1 in Augusta, because I'm going to send that to the west, I think. And 2 in Weldon, which I'm going to end up probably splitting up, if I remember my strategic limits right. And then this should be me, this is me doing this on the Army. And then we get cards. Union cards. Confederate cards now. Put everything back in the deck, pulled a Trans-Mississippi and an any. So. And then the naval reinforcement die rolls, we bring up the charts. That's this down here. You'll roll this to see what kind you get, and then this to see where it goes. The first one is a 1, so that's going to be an ironclad. And then the 3 is in Texas. So an ironclad in Texas. Copy an ironclad, bring it over here, drop it into Galveston. And now I'm going to do displaced units. So only the Confederates have displaced units. And there's not a legal place in Arkansas because militia have to be on a resource or objective hex in the home country. So like up here in Springfield, it has to be, one of the dark black dots. None of those are available in Arkansas. I took the last one at Camden. So over here in Mississippi, I dropped it in Knoxville. Or not Mississippi, Tennessee. And Hindman I put in Decatur because I'm going to try some shenanigans. The Virginia militia, I think I put him in Strasburg. I said I put him in Strasburg, but I actually put him up here in... Oh yeah, I did. I put him in Strasburg. Okay. And now we're to strategic movement. Yay, strategic movement. Union gets 12 rail. You'll notice how I spread out the Union here at New Albany, Madison, and Cincinnati. And there's 2 in Frankfort. The idea is I want to make sure this guy is not going to have a good time if he tries to go across the Ohio River. We want to make sure that we can, for sure, keep him isolated as long as possible and then let somebody run him down. So that's what I'm doing there. 12 rail, 3 river, 3 ocean, and 1 road for theater. Special naval strategic movement, of course. So 3 ocean, I took the 3 I dropped in Annapolis over here, and I dropped them down into New Orleans. So basically getting back my stuff. 1 road from St. Louis is going to come down here. I show you the road movement when I'm doing road movement, so you can see the path of the LOC. It has to be through an LOC to get to where it's supposed to go. River move. I took Arkansas Post, St. Louis, and Cairo. I took 1 from each and put them all into Grant down there at the Army of the Tennessee by a river. Just kind of show you how it got there. And then over here on the Union armies, I think I just dropped the stack there. So I have 9, 10, 11. I have 12 there now. And then I railed 1 out of Columbus into Memphis. I think it was. It rode from Cairo to Grant, so I went to Sherman. And then I railed into Nashville. Cairo and New Albany went to the Army of Cumberland, just south of Nashville. And then here, 2 from Washington goes over to Sedgwick. Let's get over to that side of the map. So 2 out of Washington are going to go to Sedgwick up here to give him 6 again. Because, hey, it's Jackson we're facing. And all I'm doing is I'm taking like counters and dropping them over here. And then over here, I'm just changing the counts on the counters. I think that's it for my strategic movement. I could have moved the navies around, but I think they were fine where they are. Confederate, 7 rail, 1 river, 1 road per theater. 2 in Chattanooga go to the Army of the Tennessee. And this should be me doing the Army of the Tennessee. Then just trying to make sure I had a rail line to go where I wanted to go. You guys are all going west. And I've thrown them into the Army of the Tennessee too. I felt like I needed to build up the Army of the Tennessee. Now it should be up to like 10, I think. I think this is legal. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I rail Augusta to Atlanta, then Western Road, move to Natchez. And as far as I know, you're allowed to chain things. So I took a rail to put them in the Western Theater and then used the Western Road thing to put a strength point in Natchez. Just to try and make it so he can't just walk in. He's got to actually attack me. Okay. Make that strategic movement. Leader management phases. And here's where I have a contradiction in the rules. Definitions on the general's track say that red means to remove it, and T means to transfer. However, in the scenarios section, it preempts that, saying when Grant gets promoted, he can transfer to Halleck's location, because it's not like that on the board here. Back here, let's go down here by the leader so I can show you what I'm talking about. I'm very much at a quandary here on how this works, because over here, when Grant gets promoted, see, Grant gets promoted here, but it doesn't say transfer on the track, and it should have something there to say that there's a special rule for Grant. Footnote something on there to say check the rules, but it doesn't. And if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have had to waste an action point getting Grant back to Halleck's army. I could have had Grant there and had the army move to his troops and just pick him up and get him moving. So I ended up losing some action points because I was doing consolidations and stuff that I didn't need to do. So that was annoying to find that. But the thing that got me, it says, when Hooker is demoted and replaced, he can be transferred to any legal space. However, Hooker here is in red. So which is it? Is he removed or is he transferred? Because the transfers makes no sense if he's removed anyway, is what I was trying to say. It's like demote him and transfer him, but then he has to remove him anyway. So why bother? It doesn't make any sense. So there's a contradiction in the rules. I went and I looked in the FAQs, the errata, nothing. Absolutely nothing. As far as I understand it, if they're in red, they're supposed to be off the board. But they have them being demoted. Does demoted mean you're not removed, that you actually get to stay on the board? Because according to what I read in the rules, if it's red lettered, they're removed. They're gone. So I'm really, really confused. And if anybody knows the answer to that, please leave me a comment in the comment section so I know if I've played this wrong, because I might have been, and I might supposedly have like McDowell could be running around with a couple strength points to garrison things and fight off cavalry. Same thing with Burnside here. Okay. Butler, it definitely says he goes to specifically to the this box here, right? Both these generals, when they're removed, they say send them to the U box, so that's fine. But, you know, when it says that someone's demoted, does that mean he gets to stay on the map? Do these guys get to stay on the map and you can use them for other things? Because they're in red, and according to what I read in the rules, red letters mean they're gone. So maybe I'm misreading that. I will try to read it again. But this got me really confused. I said FAW, FAWM, and FAQ, and errata are silent on this. Matters here because Hooker could be useful to the Union as they're coming up short on generals. Because I really, if it was supposed to be they're just demoted and they can run around on the map elsewhere, well then McDowell and Burnside and now Hooker, I could have them either helping with an army or they could be moving independent stacks of 3 or 4 points, you know, to do things. Especially in the West where there's a lot of space to cover. So I was really confused by that. Because right here it says demote Hooker and then red and transfer, but it's in red. Which makes no sense. So I played it as just Couch gets replaced by Hancock. Are they in the army? Yeah, he's in the army. Okay. Meade gets put into this army because Hooker gets demoted, and then I just removed him because I didn't know what the rule was. So I demoted and removed him because that's what it said I found in the rules. I'm going to go read those rules again. I might be doing this completely all wrong. In which case, it would explain why the Union is having such troubles trying to get anything done. And I said, the one that's up here on Grant, the note on Grant, it makes sense because he basically was told to take over the army of from Halleck. There's another thing at turn 17. There's something special about Hunter and Sheridan in turn 17. That's a special rule for the scenario, the campaign scenario. So I don't understand. And like I said, I am at 22 victory points, so I'm 8 behind right now. Confederate leader management. Unfortunately, they lose Jackson. Ewell will take his place. I do get AP Hill in the east, and Van Dorn gets removed. So some stuff is going to happen here. So Ewell takes over from where Jackson was. Jackson's removed. AP Hill I put in Staunton here because it just kind of made sense to me. And then over here, I think I had to... Oh, I said before I go any farther, General's signal was to go to Sherman's force, and Sherman was going to the Army of the Tennessee. And Van Dorn gets removed in general rearrangement. What I did is I took somebody from somewhere. Buckner came out of one of these things. I took Price to Netchez, and I put Buckner in Decatur because they were not doing me any good where they were at. And then we're into action phase 1. It's a tie, so we get cards. We got the Confederate and the Union cards here. Confederates picked an any, and Union picked an any. So that's a nice pick for the Confederates and not too bad for the Union as well. Then the Union wins by 3. And I'm playing around with my army cards here. Because I'm going to have Sherman break off and do stuff. Okay. Now, from here, I did this specifically this way because it prevents him from being able to retreat from me. By moving there, so I went 1, 2, and then 3 with my intrinsic leader. Second movement point, Morgan can intercept. He can't avoid the battle because of the river, strength point, and zone of influence for moving force. So this river here, he can't go there because I have a unit there. He can't come across these rivers because it's not friendly or neutral controlled, still controlled by the Union. And he can't retreat into hexes where I'm moving from. So if I'm moving from here, you can't move into the hexes that are right adjacent in front of you. So I've got him trapped here against the Ohio River. So the best bet here was to intercept. If he can manage to survive the attack here, then he can go run like 2 hexes off this way and try to get back to civilization and end his isolation. So that's what I tried, and I rolled a 3, 4. Normally he would be +4. Or no, he's +3. 2 for cavalry and 1 for his defense. So he doesn't make it. I move into the hex and drop in any card for +2 Union 2 column. So I should have moved that card. So I got a 6 + 2, which is a 1 star, so they're gone no matter what, and his leader will be displaced. They're normally on the 1 column, +1 for his defense, but foraging marker shifts it to the left column, so it's the 0 column +1. And he rolled a 1, so a 2 is nothing. So it works, but cost a card and AP. So I got the guy, but it cost me a card and an action point to get rid of him. And it'll be much later that I will actually flip him over because he was isolated when he was taken out. He has to spend an extra turn in the displacement box. And the way you do that is you flip him over. For the first turn that he's in the displacement box, he's flipped face down. Then with the next displacement phase, you flip him face up, and then he can be placed the following one. As long as he's in the box face up, he can be placed. So I can't control Covington yet because I don't have enough MPs, but I will at the end of the turn. This is me straightening out the boxes there because I forgot. Second action point is Sherman is going to do Sherman. Comes out of the Army of Tennessee with 4 strength points. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I never understand why it jumps up there. 5. Oh, I think that was me displacing that unit. Right? Was that me displacing that unit? Yes. That was me displacing that unit. Because 4 to 0 is an automatic, so I take Jackson with 5. I do not control it. But I am sitting on it. I used a Trans-Mississippi card to, instead of wasting an action point, I used a card to do this. And Grierson moves to possibly intercept Wheeler on a run. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have to give it over to the Confederates. I thought way too long about what I should do, and I decided, I think, just to dig in. I had Price build a thing there. I had Ewell build a thing there. That was 2 of my action points. And then Forest to Columbus, Kentucky to mess with the Union was my thought. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4 to remove the control, and then 5. And we're going to have a fight here. So that's why I did that. Forrest still has an LOC at that point when he does that, because he can trace back to Mackenzie and then into Dover and then down to Kingston Springs and and all the way back into Chattanooga and stuff. So he's fine so far. Forrest still has a LOC at this point. So he rolls a 4. I think it's a 4 plus 2. Yeah, he's on the 1 column plus 2, so he got a 6 total, which is a 1 loss, which is what he wanted. And me, I'm hoping for like a 6. And I got a 2. Which is a diamond, which does nothing. Forrest can't control it till the end of the turn, but he does get Union attention away from other things, hopefully, which was the whole idea. Just to keep them from concentrating like on Vicksburg and stuff. And this is me just moving counters around. And he sits in Columbus. Annoying as he is. And that's his 3rd AP, so AC. What did I do? Oh, I decided to hold off. I said, wait a minute, I need to build a fort in Chattanooga, so I spent my West card on the Confederate cards to do that. Because I wanted to be under 4 cards. I wanted to be able to keep whatever I draw next turn. And I'm thinking ahead that sooner or later he's going to come after Chattanooga, and if I have forts building up there, I might be able to get it. So now we go into action phase 2. So now it's going to be the Confederates, and they get 2 dice differential. Okay. And I thought entrenching here made sense because it forces him to come get me. Or to get me into an isolated and make me surrender situation. And this is me remembering that because this guy was isolated, he had to be flipped over face down. Because it's like if it's a face down leader like that, it means you can't get him back this next turn. It will be the turn after that he will come back. So not in turn 12, but in turn 13. That was why I did that. Okay. Now I moved Buckner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So moving out on Holly Springs, trying to start wrapping around Sigel here. I only had 2 AP. I don't think I spent a card on anything. Union gets to go for 2 APs. So he went 1 for Jackson, 2, 3 here. That was me trying to figure out how those dang things work. And now he lost 2 build points for that. And I think I was trying to figure out how the destroyed markers work and stuff, and stuff wasn't moving. So I think what it is it says 2 destroyed, and then when I bring it back up as the Confederate, I have to put a destroyed marker on there to make sure that I know that it's only worth 1. Because starting in 1863, if you take a hex as the Union in the South, in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, I think it is, you destroy the excess over 2. I believe that's what it is. I might be wrong about Mississippi. It might not be one that gets done. I will check. So it was 1 there, then 2, 3 here, and then 4, and he thought I was going to like move to Grand Gulf so maybe he could intercept me. with some strength points to mess up Sherman. And so he didn't come across the river to try and get me. And I said, nope. I moved next to Vicksburg. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and I stopped it there. Then I rivered Stanley to there into New Madrid. So I'm starting to surround him. I think now we're to AC3. It's the Union again, but 3 differentials. So now I'm going to try something else. He is making me use up these differentials to try and do stuff. I believe. Oh, I went back to put the control marker down because it wouldn't let me do it any other way. So after 1 AP, I went after Buckner, and this was probably a mistake. I should not have done this. But I went 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea behind attacking him, I did leave 2 guys behind. I left a guy behind, brought 2 with me against his 2. He's a 1 defense, I'm a 1 attack. Okay, now what I had him do is I had him try to intercept me. Because if he could have intercepted here, then he would have been much closer to going 1, 2, 3, 4 and just start cutting me off. But he didn't. Now he tries to avoid when I actually move into the space. What was I thinking? Oh, he rolled a 10 to avoid. So he just backed up a hex, which brought Sigel forward so that this guy now can attack Sigel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is the thing I said. Garrison to opposite Vicksburg. And this was me moving to isolate Vicksburg. I'm starting to move in and start surrounding him. I've still got to do a few things because the river, he controls the river from here down to this fort. So he can river down here and then get LOCs all over the place. So he's not out of supply. So he doesn't have to make isolation rolls, doesn't have to make surrender rolls. And then I moved Cincinnati to Paducah. So I brought Cincinnati because I had it up here holding me down there. I had him move Cincinnati into Paducah. I'm confused. What was I doing with the Confederates? I was trying to remember what I did. Okay. Oh, so I said I would have had a chance to intercept here. So I was going to have Hardy with 2 strength points try to get across. He needed a ridiculously high number. And Snake Eyes was like never. So I did have the choice to intercept that. So. What am I doing? Am I doing armies or something? I'm doing something here, but I don't. I was thinking about leaving Vicksburg at this point, keep the strength points alive. to fight on and maybe do a fighting withdrawal across Mississippi and Alabama. It's me talking about numbers here. Like, he's probably going to isolate me before this turn. The same concern for Forrest. He can run now and be there to mess with Union supply routes. And I think after much thought, and I did take a long time, I think I took an hour and a half, just sitting and staring at the board. I went for a walk, got myself another drink, talked with some people about other things to get my mind off it, and came back. And then I came back and I said, you know something? So since it's still in supply, I'm going to build up my fort in Galveston, which is a card, not a. And then I thought about trying to build a fort, and then I went and read, and it's like, no, forts have to be in full supply. So I can't build it in Columbus, Kentucky. So, oops. So I'm going to go play games in northeastern Tennessee. Cinnamon goes 1, takes everybody out of Decatur. 1, 2, 3. I decided to try to intercept, and I did, which I'm not sure was the right thing to do. So I went there. He attacked me. We rolled the dice. 2 plus 1. He rolled a 6 plus 1, and he gives him a 7. And then I had a plus 0, but I rolled on the 3 table. So then I rolled a 2, which doesn't do anything to him. So I ended up, he had a diamond, I had a hyphen, so I lost and I retreated 2 spaces. And this is where I made a huge mistake. I should not have retreated like that. What I should have done is I should have retreated 1, 2 to be here. Yes, I lose Holly Springs. I was thinking of trying to hold on to Holly Springs. Yes, I'll lose Holly Springs here, but I'm on my lines of communication and can try to fall back on Hunter here to help defend myself. And I wasn't really thinking real clearly. I stopped him, but Sigel now is at -2 because of his DM. And now I go to, I'm going to go ahead and charge for Holly Springs. So I go 1, 2, and then for the next 3 things, I need 11s to intercept it. Almost made it on the last one, but didn't quite make it. So he flips over Holly Springs. Now remember, when you're in your home state, if you run over a control marker with infantry like that, it flips back to your side. It's only cavalry guys that have to spend the movement point because they're not 2 strength points. Infantry like that has 2 strength points or more will just automatically flip it in your home state. If you're trying to, like, if you're in a border state or something, then you still have to spend the extra movement point to flip things. So I adjusted the victory points and stuff. I think I had 3 points. I was going to put a point in training, and I said, no. I really want to put a strength point from somewhere into Decatur so that it would maintain its entrenchment for me to fall back on. And then we go to Acton Cycle 4. And it's a 1 in favor of the Union, so 1 AP per theater. That's bad for the Union because I needed to do a couple different things. That didn't really work. So I just made Curtis fall back into Camden because I didn't know what else to do with him. Yeah, the Tennessee-Mississippi campaign, as I said, I think it's undone now because I can't get enough points to do what I need to do. So I moved him there. That basically is putting the cavalry unit in a position where he's either got to move out or he's going to go into isolation on his turn, which would keep him from taking things in the further south. Then I thought about it and I said, I think I have a way to do this. I had the river boats come up and bang on Columbia. Attacked the port of Columbia, got a 7, so it's a 1-star, so we technically won. He did not roll any damage on me, so. And then I came over here and I dropped a naval card to bring the 2 strength points that were in Covington. So I was a 2+1, which made this equal to a 5. So it was a 1 loss to 4, so he's going to be out for 2 turns. And then he whacked me back, did a 1 diamond. So I had to lose a strength point and retreat back to where I came from. To put him over there, I had to go back where I came from. And then it was like, I got to try for Harper's Ferry, right? So I went 1. The Confederates were 3 column plus 3. So they made it to a 7, which was a 1-star. I rolled a 2. I was throwing a card. I think I threw a card. Yeah. Actually, I think it's an any card at this point. Yeah, I put it out there. Actually put it on the map. So I was a +2. So I got a 1 diamond. So we each were lost 1. I think Sedgwick got DM'd. But now Ewell is down to 2 strength points, which couldn't be a problem. Confederates get to go. Now we got issues. So Vicksburg got kept from isolation, and any marches on Chattanooga or big moves in the east are done. I can't do much of anything. You manufacture this a couple more times. Union's down by 7 victory points at the end of the turn here. Actually, I was down by 8, I think, at the end of the turn here in turn 11. So I'm going to try to get Corinth. It has 1 strength point. Used an any card. So he's +3. So you got a 7. That's what they needed. They got the 1 diamond. I needed to roll like a 5, I think, to stop him. And I didn't do it. Because even at a 5 on the 1 chart, if you have a 1, a 5 is only a star. I needed to get a 6 to stop him, or a 5 or more in order to at least cause him damage. But I didn't get either. And because he was 2-to-1 odds on me, he gets to keep moving. So he went 1. And I adjust the build points and victory points. So 2, 3, 4. I think I stopped there. No, I moved back 4 to try and box in Sigel and make him be isolated. And I think I went ahead and tried to intercept. I rolled a 12. So I got to go here. He attacks. 1 plus 1 is a 2. So he got a diamond on me. I had a 3 on the 2 column, which was 3 on the column. 2 column was here. He rolled a 1 plus 1 is a 2 on the 2 column is a diamond. He got a diamond. I got an asterisk, so I technically won. So he didn't get to advance in that hex. And that let me be able to possibly get Sigel out of here in my turn. And then I had Wheeler in the Trans-Mississippi just take his 1 strength point and go running off there just to try and screw with Camden. And it's like, if I can pull off a win against the Army of the Potomac, I might be able to pull off an auto victory with the Confederates next turn, if I can weaken him enough. So I had to go ahead and try. I went 1. So I get to reroll 1s on my high morale. 2, 3. He moved there 3. I tried to maneuver react to Manassas. And failed. So Lee attacks me. Now we try to avoid, and we get away from him. So he gets into Aku Station. And then if you count, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can't really come across the river. It takes 5, 6. He only has 5. So he's going to go for Manassas Junction. Army Normandy moves on to Massachusetts. I'm going to try to interdict this time. I get my 10. So I make it, and we have a big battle. And then this is the Confederates on the 15 column, plus 4. They got a 22. They got 4 damage. And the Union rolled an maximum. They rolled 3 6s. I have plus 5 in generals. I don't think I have plus 5 in generals. Union Army. 1, 2. Oh yeah, 3, 4, 5. Because I have Reynolds still. So Meade, Reynolds, and Hancock combine to give him a 23, which is 4-star. So he managed to get up here to a 22. But he was on the 15 column, this column. So he got to a 4, so that's heavy damage on me, so I'm going to be demoralized. But I managed to get basically into that same row, but since I have more strength points, I did a 4-star. So technically I won the battle, even though we both took massive losses. I won the battle, and that got rid of his high morale. And then now I think I'm just taking pieces off the board. Taking armies off the board here. Yeah. And I think we're making them. I don't know if I remember to do this on the Army of the Potomac. Yes, I did. And then we go into the end phase. And I get control of Covington. He's got control of Holly's. I'm checking controls here. Moving demoralized. Just moving around the map, make sure that nobody's demoralized that shouldn't be. The army's got rid of it. And I think that's it. And I'm -8 from the benchmark. I think I'm actually more than that when I go back. I think at the beginning of the next turn, I actually recounted and I came up with different numbers. So I'm not sure exactly where I'm at. No damage shit, so ice, they complete. They did not complete, not yet. So, seems to be working. A couple of jabs to cavalry and probably unwise attack in the east, but all in all, CSA is 8 points ahead of the curve from what I can count. If they get lucky, they only need to hold and regain 1 or 2 victory points net, and they would automatic victory at the end of the next turn. We'll be starting down 11 victory points. If you go over here and look, because I'm supposed to be at 33 and I'm going to be at 22. So, yeah, it's going to be a problem. There are not enough action points for the units to accomplish all of their... They did by this time historically. It seems like the limited action cycle count gives the CSA an advantage, especially when going second, as they can do riskier things to force reinforcements to backwater places, like I did with my cavalry. Well, that's the end of turn 11. I hope something better happens with the Union in turn 12. This might just be all over. Go there, and that's the end of the log file. Okay. So yeah, it's a bit of a slog here for the Union. They're reacting to what the Confederates are doing. Those I think were the right moves with the cavalry, because he spent a turn and cards and stuff to get rid of both of them. So those cards were not available to be used like around Vicksburg and stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, to say the least. But that's the thing about learning how to play the game. I'm better adapted at playing things like this, games like this. I'm much better at playing the South and being patient and waiting and using my defensive uh, positioning and my better reaction time, because I have better reaction leaders, to being able to force the Union into fights that they may not want to be in. And I just find the Union seems to be way short on action point capability here. So I'm in a world of hurt up here in Eastern Tennessee. I'm going to have to put reinforcements into Memphis rather than building up my armies to take out things, and I'm going to have to put stuff over in Missouri, or Arkansas, I should say, to just stop this guy from running around on me while I go try and take out Vicksburg. So I just don't have enough action points to get things done. I have to attack on right now 4 different axes. So it's very, very hard. So I'm still trying to learn how to do the Union properly. So if you guys know anything about what I'm doing, you see what I'm doing with the Union and what am I doing wrong, things like that, I need to know, because I'm obviously not playing them correctly. I did really good early on, pushing my way into Arkansas early, got to Little Rock, but then I think I concentrated a little bit too much on trying to push my way around in Little Rock, when I should have been using that time to get further south, take out Vicksburg, and then come back at Little Rock, coming from the backside with a few points when I have extra actions, and concentrating more on taking out the southern Mississippi and coastal ports and stuff, because I seem to be behind. And I can't seem to get any kind of push into eastern Tennessee, and western Tennessee is a mess. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, if you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Please leave comments and share it with your friends. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps small channels like myself keep going. And I do appreciate those of you that have subscribed. I think I'm up over 420 now, so thank you very much. If we get over 500, then it has to be like 510 or something before I even think about it, because of bots and things. If I get well over 500, I will put up a poll about what you guys want to see me do, and I will like stream for like 5 hours. I'll stream some game you guys want to see me play solo, and I'll stream that, and you guys can interact with me and tell me what you think I should do and with a turn or something like that, and we'll go from there. Okay. Um, I'm putting this out. I've put out some things for another game from GMT Games called The Hunters, which is German U-boat activity from 39 to 43, early 43. I haven't gotten anybody saying that they want to see more of that, so I'm not sure that that's a game that people like. It is definitely defined as a solo game, so maybe people aren't interested in that. There are other games that I can do. I've done a couple of different games on the channel in the past, so if you see something listed there, I did do Victory Games. Civil War game using is it WAG or WGA? I can't remember if it's War Gamers Association or War Gamers. I think it's WGA. Did a really good comprehensive go through of the second edition rules for that game and clarified all the ambiguities and put in some things that make the game work a little bit more like this one, where you need to use the leaders to do stuff, even the bad leaders, just in order to be able to get things done. I tended to have to do that anyway, just to get troops to move where I wanted them to move. Even if they ended up in a fight they were going to lose, the idea was to get enough pressure on the South that they had to do something about it. So that's definitely my problem here. And like I said earlier, there's this thing about the demotions being in red. According to the rules, from what I read, I'm going to read them again. But from what I read, when the leader shows up in red, he's removed. Whether it says DM or R doesn't matter. It's just removed because he's in red. It should have been like the demotions should have been like in a different color other than red if they're supposed to stay on the board. So I don't understand, because they had that exception when I found it, when I was trying to figure out why was there a transfer on somebody who's demoted. It didn't make any sense. And then I went and I looked it up, and I finally found it in the scenario thing where it said, oh, when Hooker is demoted, you can actually transfer him anywhere you want him to go. And, oh, by the way, we didn't put the transfer on Grant, but when he gets promoted, he can immediately go to wherever Halleck's hex was. And I was like, okay, that one made sense because that's what actually happened. The Hooker one, it's like, well, I always thought that McDowell did like some minor duty either in West Virginia or out west or something. He was just sort of like he became sort of a garrison general, that he didn't have a big role in the Union Army anymore, but he didn't just like go away completely. He ended up, finishing out his term doing some other stuff. At least that's what I remember from my history reading. I have to go look again, but he was never given command of an army again, but he was capable to run small garrison divisions and things. And same thing with Burnside, I think it is, that suddenly disappears. That he was still around, he just wasn't really prominent. He wasn't, he ran the Army of the Potomac, and then they like shipped him off to do some other backwaters type stuff. Yeah. So I'm really confused about the whole demotion thing, because the demotions are in red here on this, and that bothers me, because it says, demotion is in red there, and other ones say remove with R's, so that's obvious that they're supposed to be removed. But why are the DMs in red as well? Because from what I saw, the reds meant that they were supposed to be removed. So maybe I've misread the rule, and I've been playing down a couple of generals with the Union, which would explain why everything's going so slow for me. Because I don't have the extra general to like push in Eastern Tennessee, because I don't have a general to march these guys down this way when I have an extra action point, which puts pressure on the South to split off some of their leaders and put somebody over here to defend Knoxville, and all this kind of other stuff that should be going on. It's not major. It's like maybe 2 or 3 strength points each running around here in the mountains, but that should be there, and they're not there. So I'm very, very confused on that particular part of the rules. And if you know what that rule is supposed to be, then let me know in the comments, okay? So, like, comment, share, and please subscribe if you can. And I'm going to get out of here, and we'll be back for turn 12 on the next video. I'm Gen 608. Until we meet again, stay safe, and bye-bye.